For the council, my name is David Snyder, Dave Schneider, the Human Rights Ordinance, of course. I'm a graduate of University of Florida, lifelong student of history, go Gators. And as a lifelong student of history, one of the things that's always fascinated me is wondering and looking into exactly what happened to these supporters of segregation after the Civil Rights Movement, after the marches stopped, after the bills passed, after, the history was written. What exactly happened to these people? The fact is, if you hear a lot of people in my grandparents' generation talk, and frankly, a lot of your generation talk, it sounds like there were no supporters of segregation. It sounds like just about everyone was out there marching with Martin Luther King, sitting down with Rosa Parks, getting their skulls bashed in, marching with civil rights protesters. You particularly hear this from white people, especially down here in the South. White people who say, look, yeah, I was out there. I was out there with Martin Luther King. I was on the right side of history. My grandparents are a good example of that, coming from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up to so-called liberal Illinois. My grandparents all, now, after the fact, would have claimed, yes, I was a big supporter of civil rights protesters. But the bottom line is, when I actually started looking into that, and I think, when all of us kind of really reckon with the historical record, we know that's simply not true. And Jacksonville knows it better than most. As the city, when Martin Luther King was deciding whether or not to go and stage his historic stand against segregation in St. Augustine or Jacksonville, we know that he couldn't come to Jacksonville because the majority in this city was so violently opposed to civil rights and so violently opposed to progress that they bashed the skulls in of civil rights protesters just outside these doors in Hemming Park back in 1960. We know that's the history of Jacksonville. It's a history that we have to reckon with to this day. We know it's not true that everyone was out there supporting. So, look, the bottom line is, I believe, and I think everyone here is starting to see the writing on the wall, equality will win. And the reason equality will win is that the people united will never be defeated. It's something I believe, and it's something that every brave gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer protester, going back to Stonewall and before to present day, who've suffered untold amounts to get us to this point, the victory will be theirs. The final victory will be theirs. So the question that the council has in 2016 is, how's it going to be? Are you going to look back and be one of those people that says, after the history's written, after equality's won, because look, we're going to win, okay? The movement for equality, the movement for civil rights, the movement for progress and for freedom is always going to win. Do you want your grandchildren, do you want to lie to your grandchildren? Do you want to tell them, yeah, I supported it, and they can go and look up the historical record, or do you want to do the right thing and be on the right side of history? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mary Alice Groves.